Do they have a randomized
Hello, everyone. God damn it, JC. When we say we're going live, it's not, hey, say something. It's wait for me to lead you in. I know you're doing it on purpose, you fucking old fart. I'm not your son. You don't need to fucking interrupt and make it. We've done 70 episodes now. Jesus Christ. JC. You beautiful boy. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Fuck you. Shadow, how are you?
I am great, John. I got a lot of D&D on the agenda for tonight. Ready to get
I
it
bet
started.
you do. Corin, how are you?
Welcome to City States of Klovisa, Battletoads.
The base Nintendo game Battletoads. Brood, how are you doing?
I'm sick.
You're 6?
6?
Oh, sick.
Oh, okay. We're not playing Digimon today. But I hear that Alden wants to play Digimon. Alden, how are you?
Digimon. You know, I forgot how itchy growing out your facial hair can be.
Yeah.
But don't do it.
Demmer, how are you doing?
Are you
It's
allowed
my
to
only
do it?
chance.
This is only a chance.
Demmer, how are you doing?
Hey.
All right.
How are you
Guys,
doing,
we're a
John?
little bit late due to the fact that technical difficulties are real. So we're just going to jump straight into the recap. Who wants to do the recap? 50 words or less. Let's go.
We found the Leech Camp and now we're doing war crimes.
We leveled up.
You leveled up. Wow.
That's about it.
That must be pretty big.
I found some tiny little hands in my bag, so I ripped it off and then cried on the person who I ripped off the arm.
True, true. That's horrifying and
Poorly
accurate.
discovered gnomes.
The little gnome who ripped his arm off. Okay. Last time I remember, we were in Thorzor. I think it is the 11th or the 12th?
Something like that.
It says P-updraft.
Yes.
So you guys haven't even done a long rest to do to level
No.
up yet, right?
We did.
No,
We did.
long
Well-
rest and level up justifications. I think.
Cut-
We went to the 18th.
I used
No,
synaptic,
Oh, it's the
synaptic static on
18th.
cows.
Yeah, cut mine up off a bit before I could choose the second spell.
True. Okay, then we have some things to retroactively go through. On the 12th, so 6 days ago, it is the 18th. I see it now here on my calendar. P-LRC. On the 12th, 6 days ago, your explosives were completed. Schmitty has them ready and willing to take them.
And we will take them.
All right, well, you gotta go get them first. Luckily, you have an airship, so it shouldn't be too hard. Only one guy needs to go and get them. On the 18th, you will be having your war meeting with Jess Meza, I believe. And yes, we should just do your level up right now. If anyone has not gotten the chance to do it, now is the time to speak. Before we resume on the cliffhanger we were just on.
Okay, I think mine was the only one needed to finish up.
Okay.
And I asked you a question, but I think you were out of it during the question I asked beforehand, so I'm just going to jump on this one and take Rary's telepathic bond.
Ooh.
And to actually to actually test this out, to actually learn this, he, or at least Anchois, wants to kind of like every day go through kind of like a ritual with Sever of, you know, like, well, he's kind of teaching him how to kind of like, you know, worship the elementals, the primals in their way. And on this, he kind of lays down a telepathic bond to kind of enhance that connection between me and him.
So Summer's like, I can already talk to you in your head. And then Antoine's like, and now I can talk to you too.
Maybe your vampiric magic is influencing his own without you even realizing, Sever.
Summer, are you a vampire? Is that why all of these elemental things have been going so well for you?
I think we might be rubbing off each other more than I initially thought. And he kind of like checks his neck for neck bites, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
Don't worry.
You
Only
guys
as
are
much as
more in common than you think. You both have weird things with elementals. You both have stone for parts of your skin. Telepathy.
Everybody hates both of you in your party. It's crazy.
we're
Yes,
both
you know,
despised.
I think we still have your wedding ring somewhere around if you're over the horse.
You
Who's
rebound from horse to frog.
Are vampires
Isn't that tight?
allowed to be married?
Who knows?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
another
please
lifelong
take
bond, right?
telepathic bond. Yugu made great use of that back in Ugarest.
Cool.
Okay. Did anyone else have any downtime activities that we need to retroactively go back in time to just do right now?
I grabbed rope and the explosives from Schmitty and I handed them to Thatch.
Okay. You now have a bunch of what is essentially pipe bombs.
Awesome.
I grabbed the
Alright.
cow that I was accosting by the scruff and ask it why my spell doesn't work on it.
Yeah. It's not like a sack. It is a full-blown, like, heavy-duty plastic attaché case with foam liner inside, and each pipe bomb has, like, a full-blown, like, crank timer, and is just sitting in a little cutout. There are, I believe there were 32 of them in total.
God. We've turned
Something
Schmitty
like
into the
that.
Unabomber.
32 to 40.
Do what?
Something like 32 to 40. I can look back in my notes and find out how many exactly we ordered. Or we ordered so many for like 500 gold.
Yeah, I think 32 is what I wrote somewhere.
Then 32 it is.
We're just gonna go with 32. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, you know.
I
Wait,
feel like
timer?
32 is a good amount of bombs.
Yeah.
How long was the timer? Like 30 seconds? 40 seconds?
You can set it up to 1 minute before detonation.
That's
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
it's
too
like,
long.
what?
And they be detonated via fireball.
Yeah. They're super simple timers. They are not like the bombs that we have. In theory, he could have made longer timers and fuses, but he essentially understood that you were literally just going to be throwing these at people. So rather than doing like a contact on explosive and risk blowing up you, he's like, give him like 6 seconds. Fucking throw him. See what happens.
They have egg timers on them, don't they?
Yeah, basically.
Nope.
Super
that's
simple
exactly what
timers.
we were looking for.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, they look like fun. I'll take that.
Oh,
How much do they weigh, and how many did we get so we can distribute them amongst the party?
Each one weighs half a pound. They're not the biggest things in the world. These aren't gonna... Together? Like, if you tied them all, are 3 to 8 all at once, with, like, duct tape and set one to a timer. Or you put them all to, like, over 1 minute and just put it somewhere, and then just fucking hauled ass, you may be able to take down a big structure. But these aren't the biggest things in the world.
nope. They were meant for a different purpose.
Okay.
So did Sever have to go to Tulsa to get these? Or
Yep.
were they here in Thorzar?
He had to fly
Red
over.
Planet, right? Okay.
Could he have taken the +1 maul that we don't need and given it to the armory?
We just drop it off in the armory. Boop.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright.
Hey, John, why don't you also add a
Big ass.
+2 longsword?
Okay.
We had
Just a regular
D4
+2?
radiant damage.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And while I'm at the armory, I drop off 6 hatch eggshells from the sewer, and I say, "This is some gross stuff that Ozark might like, but we don't have time to talk to him, so just hold this here."
Give Ozark these swamp herbs. Tell him what happened with Fen.
Didn't we have a hand that we gentle reposed too?
Oh shit! We just drop off a bunch of gross shit at the armory. We're like,
You
we'll
just
be
leave it
back
on the
later.
tyrant's throne.
The armory. Why the armory?
The arm too.
Okay. Was somebody gonna legend lore something?
Yeah. You guys want me to legend lore the sword?
It depends. I would love to legend lore the sword, but I would rather not waste your spell slots if we need them.
This
I
would be
wouldn't.
during downtime, so as
Right,
part of
yes.
him getting the spell, he gets to use it as like.
It's either the sword or I'm legend loring Lotharian herself.
I mean, I'll look at the sword, but it's my sword, so I'm biased.
I
You sure you
poked the
don't want
sword.
to do the little arm? As
I
practice?
poked the sword.
Do
and
you
I
have
legend lore.
300 gold worth of all this bullshit? You have money. Subtract 300 gold right now.
Yeah.
I will take it off of the party sheet.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Name or describe a person, place, or object. The spell brings you to... Okay, I need to actually read this, don't I?
Oh, person too? You can do it on the tyrants.
That was a joke. I imagine that the no divination shit that's around the Citadel will stop it.
Yeah, probably.
Or he himself can't be Legend Lord. Some dumb shit.
I'm reading the spell quietly, so I don't read it out loud and ruin my voice.
No problem.
From what I
to
gather reading it, the less you know about it, the shittier the information you get.
FYI, it should be actually 450 total gold for it.
No, because the ivory strips aren't consumed.
Right, but he doesn't have them yet, so we needed to spend those.
Ah.
Oh, okay. I'll take another 150 off the party sheet. There's a question from Murder Buddy in chat while we're waiting. Did I miss something? Why is Revik Brood's name spelled backwards?
Because
Would you like to
he is
explain?
actually known as Sever,
Yeah.
because he, well, he can explain that while I go and look for this magical
Because,
item.
you know, as a violent vampire, he wanted to be subtle with his new name.
Once upon a time, I was a little grung boy called Revit. And he was 28 years old when he died and turned into a vampire. And when he
Sever
became a
was
vampire-
28?
He's pretty old. He's older than the tyrant who he calls father. So he calls himself Sever as a vampire because he's cast Revik off. And if you notice, if you flip it around, Sever is Revik backwards. So.
So you kind of got lucky.
I did get very lucky. I was surprised because I was like, I'm gonna be a person aligned with nature and a ranger, and then I turned into a vampire and everything hates me. So
You're
that's
aligned
fun.
with part of nature. Death.
I'm an undead now.
Okay, so I need a little bit more of a scene being set here. So Alden, Fen goes to Thatch, having a concept of a spell within his mind. I need you to take it from there.
Yeah, so Fen just starts, I don't know, ivory strips. He just kind of asks Thatch to, like, set the sword on the ground. And then he just puts incense, like, next to him in a couple places.
What are you
And
doing, Fen?
circles it with ivory strips. I'm casting a spell.
What kind of spell?
Don't worry about it.
I'm
gonna-
always worried about it when you say that.
We'll figure out more about the sword and why it does all this bullshit. And he points at the scattered pieces and the lightning.
Hmm.
And then he
Is it
lights
gonna
the
damage
incense.
the sword?
Probably not. And
I'll
Fen
set
will
the
just
sword down.
start, I guess, describing the sword and then just putting his hands over it and try to meditate on it.
Yeah. Tell me about your bardic magic for a moment. How is it that you convey your spells into the world? Because some bards, like, sing, and they do a little dance, and they do a little jimmy. But you're like a bard of whispers or something, right?
Eloquence.
Eloquence. So you would have to, like, start reciting poetry, almost, to convey some of these... the history of this weapon before you. And all this prose is almost like an alien thought to you that just begins to flow from your brain out to your mouth as you begin to tell the history of this sword. This was... Did this even have a name originally? I don't think this was ever named. But this blade was made by the Alventori of legend as a gift/peace offering between one member of their clan, known as Whitebeard, to Alexander von Gleevlick, the Night Haunter. It saw scant use for the most part, but its biggest contribution was wounding the god of peace and death, Ish-Arith, which cost it its form, and it was thought lost to the ocean when the tide came back to swallow the battlefield. Yeah.
That's all I get out of the spell for this round.
Read it by the
Okay.
Alventori, you say.
Fen's still in a
Anybody-
trance as the silence from his mouth is open and there's just silence.
If the Alventori were the one to create it, then maybe they're the ones who can fix it. Are you still there, Fen?
The one thing
It's
that
scary.
Fen will keep to himself, because it has no true set name for you to even rhyme with or against it, because every time you like try to think of it, it's like a different kind of material comes out of your mouth, or wants to, and it just ties your tongue. But the metal of this sword is known as three names. Sometimes it's called Essence of Lightning. Other times it's simply called Star Metal. Sometimes it is called God Steel. It is one of the rarest types of metal known to whatever is channeling its spirit through you. That's all I wish to give.
That's all I got, Thatch.
Thank you for that. That gives me at least a first place to start looking.
And it's made of some special metal. Even like after the spell, can I even like manage to say a name of it, or does my tongue just kind of trip
Any
up
one
on
of those
itself?
3 will do.
Godsteel.
As soon as you say Godsteel, you see Thatch's eyes go wide.
I figured that'd be the one you like. And if I remember right, Lotharian, in the visions we had, she said something about the Whitebeard clan. No. Someone by the name of Snowbeard. Probably connected, but I think she thought that they were the people who took her daughter, or something like that.
Seems like so long ago. I will have to look into this further as soon as we deal with the leeches. Thank you, Fen. I appreciate this.
Mm-hmm. Fen gathers his new ivory strips and adds them to his hat.
Okay. As you continue to accrue more paraphernalia on your hat, we will cut back to when we last left our session off, on that hefty cliffhanger of Coraline trying to interrupt Jess Meza from saying, "What is your opinion on war crimes?"
Was she asking me?
No, everyone.
Tried it once. It was a bad time.
Was it
Indeed.
Meza there for that?
She was not there for that.
No.
Or wait, she might have been, but she was there.
I've never really been in a war, so I don't think I've ever done a war crime. What's the difference with a normal crime?
A
Mass
tribunal
genocide.
of judges and lawyers may come after you after the war is done.
Oh, as opposed to a real crime where they come after you right away?
Yes, exactly.
Who are we committing these war crimes against?
Humanity.
Ooh.
Just Meza
You sell it
sits
so
down in
well,
her
Meta.
chair.
Like,
As she beckons you all to join her around the Thorazorian war table, for who she previously dismissed. Thatch's own city, army, admiralty, whatever you wish to call them.
Lord of War?
Yes, that guy. Meza sits. What do the rest of you do?
I sit.
Sit.
Sit
Yeah.
down. Meza, history is written by those who win battles. We must win first, and we will
This is
deal with
true.
the consequences later.
I think this whole thing has Terry a little bit on edge. I think he's going to stand.
Gary continues to stand. Meza, let's in a breath and then out a breath. They're right next to Spirit Beasts, guys. And she gestures to your map of where Lychee Dan was confirmed to be. Right next to... Who wrote Giggity? Who wrote Giggity on my map?
It wasn't
I did
me
that
this
like
time.
a week ago.
That's been there
You
for
son of a
while.
bitch!
Because you kept saying Quagmire.
You did repeatedly.
It is a quagmire. It's like an Ozark. It's a swamp. Come on, guy. What the hell? All right. Meza takes in a breath, deletes Giggity from the map, shakes her head. There are spirit beasts there. They're attracted to fear, human or other. Leeches, these monsters, clearly have no sense of fear. It's strange that they're not being attracted by Lychee Dan's magic, but then again, we never had a clear signature of where it was coming from either. So maybe he's masking it in some way. She thinks for a moment, wondering how you guys even managed to scry on it, or if you even told her you managed to scry on him. And then shakes her head, knowing it's not important.
Multiple times.
It is...
Then we used a map.
Once.
It would be an easy thing to do. To dangle someone from an airship and begin to get all of those spirit beasts pointed towards this area. However, this will agitate the entirety of the spirit beasts population there, and will then get them to descend into the lowlands and the swamp, and potentially put Thorazor in future jeopardy. We don't have the forces to just march across the swamp. But to get them to descend from an already elevated position, the spirit beasts just need eye contact on movement, and then they'll be set off. That's free breath weapons on our side, or at least in the chaos, temporarily on our side.
I mean, that sounds easy to me. Can we not just, if they come to Thorazor, can we not just do the same trick to send them back into the swamp? Just dangle Sever again from the airship and lead them away?
There's a lot of
Sever would not be your bait. I don't think any one of you could be acting as this bait and give a genuine, fearful response. We need to get someone who doesn't know what we are planning and truly make them feel like we are going to kill them in the most horrible and wretched way possible. And then we throw them out of an airship, and we will try to amplify or carry the magic that comes through such genuine horror and make it act as bait for these monsters.
Alright, I'll be right back. Corlin gets up.
Wait.
What?
What do you have in mind, Miss?
I feel like we should talk about this before we just do it.
I'm not agreeing to the plan yet. I'm not sure I'm 100% sure that unleashing spirit beasts that might flow into Thorazor is something I'm okay with.
I'm against him our goal is to protect Thorazor. But if, for example, Thorazor were being destroyed, if we had lost that far...
Doesn't Thorazor have napalm?
They do.
I
seem to want to learn from mistakes of our past. Did not the raid team take the nuclear option? Summoning a Kraken? Winning the war, but at the cost of thousands of lives, and the industry and people that they had promised to bring to toast.
Drugs. I was not part of that.
This seems like that same option. If we were to do it, what would contain the spirit beasts? What could destroy them after the battle with the leeches is done?
The Hunter General Officiary will be put on notice. They would actually be forced to deploy, so long as it's not in an active war zone. And even then, they might refuse. I'm not saying it's a good choice, but we don't have an army to assault Lychee Dan and his apparent quagmire of leeches. Giggity.
Meza, what's the war crime even in this? There's no war crime in this at all.
We're gonna be
This is a
dangling a
crime
human
against
being
humanity
from a
and law.
ship,
It's unheard of to use spirit beasts
thinking
against
of
other
them,
people.
making them think we're going to murder them
That's
for no reason.
no, for a reason, a good reason.
But
The
they don't know.
attempt to weaponize spirit beasts is a capital punishment, at least back when the Confederation was around. I don't know. I don't think Tolst would enforce it, but the Tyrant would play this down massively, or strike this action entirely from the records.
I mean,
Even
fodder will still be seeped in like magic. There's a lot of magic out in fodder, the reason they were attracted there in the first place. So long as Thorazor keeps its nose away from the swamp until they go back there, I don't see them getting too much issue from the spirit beasts.
There's no
there's
guarantee,
a,
which is why
just-
we are talking about this.
the panic from Thorazor might call them over.
Okay,
Meza, give us some more time to find the conduits. Even if we were to attack their breeding grounds with the spirit beast Lychee Dan, what might not be in any danger at all.
What do the
Um,
conduits do?
Apparently, they all hold a piece of his brain from which he can regenerate.
Okay. That should probably be taken care of first, then.
I believe we learned this either from the entity that marked Terry, or we learned it from the Greater Chemical. Does
No, the
anybody-
Greater Chemical didn't give any information on any of that. Ask
I believe-
Angela.
It was Terry's
bel-
friend.
I believe the person who said this was the being we found in the swamp. Who
Oh,
had that-
Grandma.
We can go to the ziggurat, right?
I mean, we stuck Shade there. Or you did at least, Sever. By the way, Meza, have you heard anything from Shade?
Yes. You... Ultimately, his investigation bore no fruit. Lychee Dan, all of his creatures are psychically inclined. They attack the mind. He was quickly detected, and rather than risk whatever sort of bullshit Lychee Dan could provide or dispense against him in his state, he thought it best to flee.
So, he knows that someone tried something against him on his home base.
I don't know what you mean by try, but yes. Shade was detected.
He knows that someone was attempting to do something to figure something out about him
Yes.
in his territory.
He was strangely perceptive. I'm wondering, with how perceptive he was, if you all had not been spotted when you scryed on him as well.
Ansha, is that possible?
Yes.
Can,
I mean, they know if they pass the save, they know they're being scryed on. The scrying is literal an eye that appears near the person. If you want, we could read it actually. The
I thought
thing
you were
here.
going to say try it again.
do they know who skies on them? Or where they are?
Well,
um,
if you're the Herald, you do.
Good question. I don't believe so. That doesn't sound right.
Oh, good.
Terry,
Yeah.
would you like to speak to that one?
Well, there are monsters and creatures of immense power beyond our understanding that certainly can do things that we wouldn't expect, right? Whether this Lychee Dan has such powers that would be unexpected in this particular regard, we're not sure. So I guess it's possible, right? That there is something beyond what we understand about the spell that it can take advantage of, like the Herald did.
Yes, we were spied on when we were in the Tyrant's Court when the name was mentioned before.
And again, after I attempted to scry on the Herald.
Yes, before that. When the name was said. When you said
Both
the name.
times. Afterwards, when I just scried on the Herald again, she was able to connect to me. And
Oh, that's what happened in the closet when you were with the closet.
yeah.
Okay. I remember in my room, everything turned red. I thought an explosion happened. Thank you.
There was
very
fire.
much. I thought there was worse, but yeah. Meza, if you're worried about crimes of, torturing somebody, I have a way around that. And I like your thinking, by the way. It's dangling someone and using these spirit beasts as you use the people. I mean, you use all the things around you. Why not? If you're against the idea of like torturing somebody, then perhaps you should ask permission first. You ask them.
To prime someone,
Investing us.
to get them to understand that they're not in actual danger,
No,
will be
That would
doing
take
us a
away from
disservice.
that is true. Unless you also, once you get that permission, modify their memory so they
Oh,
were
no.
never known again.
We would effectively be doing that without wasting a 5th level spell slot. By just
And what's to stop us
kidnapping
from
someone.
modifying their memory
Hold on.
afterwards?
Let's hear John. Let's hear Meza. I couldn't
Meza
hear.
repeats herself. Like, modifying their memory and getting their permission is the same as just not telling them.
Yes. Once
what
you
would be
get their
the point?
permission, well, now that you've got their permission, there's no ethical problems afterwards modifying their memory so they feel fear. They've accepted the risks. They've knowingly accepted the risks, and once they've entered to that contract, the mission, as long as they put themselves in your hands, the mission can go on without any ethical breach.
Some
Antoine,
question whether that's
That
an
spell
ethical
only
breach.
lasts for a minute.
Casting the spell only lasts for a minute, but the effects last longer until remove curse or greater restoration.
That means we would need to explain to them the entire situation and the ethical dilemma we're facing in less than 1 minute, get them to
Yep.
agree.
The spell modifies 10 minutes of memory within the last 24 hours.
Even
Get them
10
to
minutes.
agree.
What's the chance they don't agree? Anyway,
How
You
many
only need to-
assurances would you need to
Antoine?
understand that your memory is going to be wiped and we're going to use you as bait and potentially kill you so that we can get a big enough fear response that an army of spirit beasts would descend down a mountain and fight a bunch of leeches?
I understand the risks in the first minute of you talking. You
Antoine,
got extra 9 to reiterate the risks to me, but any confident person in the likes of the military understands the risks they put themselves in. We have Dan,
Antoine,
like literally half a man right now, fighting leeches.
People willing to fight would not be the ones who would give us that fear response. Antoine, you seem to be misunderstanding. To
We're
get such
putting-
a fear response is in itself a almost criminal action.
Are you planning on using a child?
No, they're usually too stupid to understand what's going on.
Mm.
A youth, maybe. Or someone off the street. Someone who is incredibly neurotic. Or who knows that an attempt on their life is already being made. Her smile begins to grow at this. Wait a minute. Isn't there a guy named Schmitty around who thinks the raid team's out to kill him?
Oh, he's like a really sweet guy, though. We don't want to. I'm sorry, not that his life is more important.
Yeah, no, not Schmitty. And I don't like this plan anymore. No, not if it's like the Kraken.
What's our alternative then?
Well,
if not bringing a war or an army against them of spirit beasts.
What have we learned from the circle that we found under the sewers in Thorazor? What have you learned from that amulet that we brought back?
Oh, Pen, do your spell on the amulet.
Somebody did a ritual. Likely brought in a bunch of these leech monsters that invaded the capital as a distraction or to... The amulet was a symbol of the leech, apparently. It was likely a conduit who did this. Or did that.
Oh, wait. Can we legend lore it or scry it back to the conduit himself?
Do you know a name?
Carved podunk amulet?
I mean, that's something, right? It belongs to them.
It's hardly what you'd consider legendary, though.
Fair enough.
The spell only works on things of genuine significance. This is just a piece of trash we found in the sewers.
It was not magical in any way?
The fact that he left it there means it was disposable. And he did not care if we found it.
And we're worried about the conduits. What's to say they won't be there at the ziggurat if a horde of spirit beasts come after them?
If I had an army of alternate lives at my disposal, I would not leave them all in one spot.
Sever, I don't know if we have a map or not, but Sever will say, we have so much space here for our defensive lines. If they start to break, maybe we can all retreat to Thorazor and then release the Spirit Beast. But before then, I don't see there's any point. I mean, losing our defensive line to Spirit Beasts after we destroy the leeches. This can't happen now.
If it's a purpose.
Yeah, I mean, if we do it, it can't be a half action, right? We have to know it is going to solve this problem for good, or at least for good in our lifetime.
If Thorazor is being marched upon by boars and leeches, then for sure, but until then...
You'll never be able to know if it's going to be for good until it's done.
Maybe that's true for you.
Can you see the future?
It's a strong tool, and I think we might need it at some point, but...
I'm surprised you bring this decision to us.
Yeah. It's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. As you all clearly know.
I've never asked for forgiveness for anything.
Spoken like a true wizard, Antoine.
She nods her head. Anyway. Just a thought.
Also, take into consideration, we don't know how much longer until he's done coming through that odd portal of his.
So we're sort of aimless right now. We need you to point us in a direction that we can hurt them.
That's what she just did.
Trying.
The Ziggurat,
No,
Ziggurat is right over there. We can go over there and, you know. I like the idea, guys. I mean,
You want to assault the Ziggurat and their quagmire of breeding ground on our own as six people.
but
Leeches are
first,
pretty slow.
you know, infest it with a lot of spirit beasts. I like that idea. You know,
Oh,
then we
okay.
come in later, you know, in the havoc.
They don't need us to fight a bunch of spirit beasts at the ziggurat.
You want to trust instilling the amount of fear needed to bring them over to people
Have
who
you-
will probably break on inflicting that fear?
Have you met Irithel? Or Irithel? There we go.
Is she here?
Is she here? Okay.
He was at Ugarest last I knew.
Uh,
With the
Guys, if
Never here when
Sebastian.
we need her. God damn
If
it,
someone's
Irithel.
going to be doing this, it's going to have to be us.
if you dislike the idea of spirit beasts, we can just investigate the swamp more. Like, we have targets in the swamp relating to the leeches. I understand. Ziggurat, too powerful. There are plenty other targets there that we could hit. And we could know exactly more about the Ziggurat and its defenses and Leechidan and the weakness, or the, whatchamacallit, conduits.
We
And
have to find the conduits. I think that's
Yeah.
too important.
Oh.
And if I hear correctly what Meza said, that a conduit probably opened a portal below the sewers of Thorazor. Did they do that remotely, or is there a conduit right here in Thorazor?
Well, we
We
know
assume
there's one
there's
that's
one or
stationed in
two.
Thorazor.
I'm sorry, I didn't. There's one in Thorazor. We can start today searching for that person right here. We are in Thorazor. We can
you have
find
a
a
way
conduit.
of finding them that we don't.
Antoine, do you still have that spell, locate object?
I do not have locate object.
Misa, are you a little less worthless and have locate object?
Not prepared, but yes.
What if we think that the conduits would have one of these leech pendant thingies?
He would be incredibly stupid to have one.
All right.
I mean, Falzamalek tried scrying on the guy.
It was
didn't work.
unsuccessful.
No. And we had the amulet. We'd assume that that was a belonging of his.
How about we entice them, the leech person, to strike again?
Oh.
This is threading the needle of maybe what you're comfortable with, but perhaps we should encourage a bit of controlled resurrection here in Thorazor. Create a big inviting target, and then wait to farm the strike. We can leave that going.
What would be the next? Other than Thorazor proper, what's the biggest target out there?
Well, we know they're in
The
Thorazor.
south?
They have struck Thorazor.
Between the mountains. Near the mushroom cloud, there's a fortress that has been blasting everything within 50 yards, I think.
50 miles.
And they've been doing that. Yeah, 50 miles. So, if they stop for whatever reason. No, it's too crazy. Don't do that.
Guys, you're not thinking a bit more drastically enough. There are people in Thorazor here who dislike the tyrants. There are people who are scared of the leeches. When the last time they struck is when the leech army was close to overrunning the defenses near the swamp. All we need to do is basically play a bit more risky here in Thorazor. Kind of sow a bit of seeds of discordance against the tyrant. See who bites, and see if any counter
Intelligence?
operative mission happen. We'd be laying a trap.
I'd
They like sewers.
Yeah, but I need.
Where's
details.
the bait? Where does... What could get him to show himself?
I'm thinking a chance
Sedition?
of them success. A chance of them actually having an impact of striking. Like the only way to
What is
encourage someone
such
to
an
strike.
inviting target that he would go mask off? If he's infiltrated here, he could be literally anyone outside
He
of
could be someone working in the Citadel.
It could be.
Can-
It could be
can
a
we-
janitor. It could be a officer. Could literally be just a townsperson.
Could be a general.
Can we
I
move
highly
the
doubt that.
water
Those
elemental
people
in
are
Thorazor
washed.
somewhere else?
You want to uproot an elemental.
I mean, we can ask it nicely, or
Or we could use it as the bait.
yeah.
We
It's
I
still
mean-
a prime target to them.
Fair.
True.
Yeah.
Another idea, maybe we could have some kind of political meeting here that they would want to disrupt.
Who do we
Public
have?
announcement, you think?
Maybe
I'm
not
thinking-
in the Citadel, but in the city, potentially.
A town square.
Maybe.
Somewhere open enough that they would feel safe not being seen in a crowd.
Yeah, inherently, whatever we do, it has to be good bait, which means there's going to be some risk involved.
Sure. How would we draw them into a position where an army of leeches could do something? I doubt this conduit would just act on their own.
Not even an army. He only got a little squadron through the portal before. So they're not going to be able to get much more than that this time, I would think.
What's her name? The architect or whatever?
Mary Kelron.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you want to have the meeting in one of those 3 cities that the conduits were reporting on. But those are in the front line.
Those were
What
the
if she...
those were
Sorry.
like Askelton, Bogwatch, Curtail, and Updraft. Those were the 4 distractions they said. The 4 areas where the leeches were attacking head on.
What if Mary Kelron were to hold a speech to her people, trying to reassure them of whatever the fuck, and, you know, soldiers are spread thin. She'll have a lighter guard than usual, obviously. That would seem like a better target than any of the other generals.
We could also take Unbug to the swamp with us.
What?
He die.
I mean,
This
he
kid
might.
is.
I thought we weren't endangering
But don't they
children.
want him-
I'm sorry. What's
What?
that?
Oh no! You said that a child wouldn't work as for the fear thing.
We're trying to focus on leeches right now, not the
yeah,
mushrooms.
in theory, if we go to the leeches, they'll want him alive, right?
I don't think the leeches will give a 2 shits about some kid that belongs to a dead
They're
guy.
allied. They're allied.
We don't understand the nature of their alliance. My understanding is that they have a long history of not working together, these creatures, and how these creatures have come to work together under the blazing star is a bit of a mystery.
All right.
Probably just a shared enemy through the tyrant. War breeds strange bedfellows.
All right, we have
That it does.
the beginnings of an idea. We're going to use someone as bait to draw the conduit and the leeches out. But we've got to put it in a situation that's public enough for them to hear about it beforehand, to plan on doing something about it. We've got to put them in a place that the leeches, or that this conduit can draw leeches in to create an assault force. Which means we need to go somewhere where they can survive in standing water. What about out by Loxator or Mustofield Delvor out here by this lake?
That's your city's water supply.
I mean, they got into our water supply one time before, right?
Did you drink a leech?
No, but your bathrooms were full of leeches, right?
In a sewer system.
Sure.
That
You
was-
drink from the toilet?
I don't need to
Asking the
drink
wrong
any-
person.
They
They
broke
licked the
through a
floor out of
wall
sewers.
that was sealed. They tunneled in. They didn't just come out of a pipework.
I don't think it's so crazy to think that they're already in the water supply.
They might
It'd be a good target. Be a good target.
We're getting distracted. That fact that that's our water supply means that's probably not a good place for them to source in. What you're saying is they could source in from anywhere. If that's the case, that solves that problem for us already. How
That'd
do
be an
we
easy discovery point.
how do we get this information out where it can be discovered? How do we
We
keep
spread it.
information?
We spread it.
Well,
Whispers travel farther than you could possibly imagine. We heard Forment of Thorazorians complaining about Tyrant on the way over here. We heard when we came from the swamp. Whispers spread, fear spreads, and fear is a great emboldener of brigands.
All right.
I don't even know if we could get Kelron to sign off on that either. She's a scatterbrain mess, and tactically she's been no help at all. She's
So
left
she's
all
an
the
easy
work.
target.
She's an insignificant target.
Then who would be better suited as bait then? Who around here
The
has
general or the admiral? If we could give without if we could give our conduit friend a clear shot at one of the upper echelon, he might risk himself then.
alright. Maybe
That
we
should
do
make you-
another.
Yes, I'm thinking what you're thinking, Fen.
Oh,
The Admiral. And my nephew.
Well, I wasn't gonna say your nephew, but you think your general or admirable at Jesus Christ, admiral would be willing to stake their lives on this for their country?
Maybe if we give him an incentive.
He's a soldier, right? Come on.
Officers aren't soldiers.
No, right now the Admiral is probably pissed. Is it her?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of her air forces are stuck. They can't create any offensive actions. They are sitting guard against angels and paladins and flying mushroom spores. The only thing that's going to free them to be able to do anything is clearing out the other threats.
Then we just feed into that anger. Give her something to really pipe up about to her citizens. Give them something to fight for. Or at least, that's what she'll think.
if our comms are intercepted, we can say that they're going to Musterfield Battle Camp Roland to give counteroffensive. Maybe they'll attack on the way.
We should want them focused on where we're gonna be.
Right. Which would be, we would accompany them to Musterfield Battle Camp Roland. It's near enough the leeches might have a shot at taking us out. If they think that we're going to do
Possibility, but aren't we targeting the conduit that's in Thorazor proper?
We should take care of the closer to home threat before any other.
Okay.
Meza looks at Terry, who's been quiet for a little while. What about your arm? Have you figured out what it does, or who put it on? We have no way of getting information on this character.
I'll look over at Fen.
I can try, but, did he give you a name?
Did he give me a name?
The big elemental?
I'm pretty sure he did, but I can't remember the gibberish that it was.
Anshua, did you not take a lock from the body of the elemental? Or was that Seva?
I did
Did
throw
somebody-
a rock at him. I
Hammer
gave him a piece of the
physically was
basalt.
not in that session.
Yeah.
I
So-
gave Antoine a piece of the basalt afterwards, just because I figured he'd want it.
He wasn't in that meeting, so he wouldn't have been able to put it on his
Yeah,
character
you probably
sheet.
never told
No,
me.
when
you
he
never
came
told
back
me.
the next session. Yeah, I did.
No, you're gonna have to tell and give it to me.
You might
you
have,
can do that now.
but it could have just been such an aside from left field
Yeah.
that he just forgot.
Either
Terry,
way,
did you ever catch that guy's name? I'm pretty sure he gave you a name, just as introduction. But
Trying to find it. I have too many notes in too many places.
I know that problem quite well. Does anyone in chat remember what we're talking about?
What if
Any chatters?
Any chatters? First time
So-
viewers?
can we get Darius to make an announcement that he's found a way to harvest the power of the elemental to fight back?
Who?
Like a public announcement. He's apparently the Grand Marshal of War.
We have to be careful with public announcements of things that we cannot.
I'll make sure that the people who hear are the people we only want to hear. A public announcement.
I say that risk is intrinsic in the job and what we're doing.
Looks like Terry might have just straight forgotten this guy's name.
I have a feeling that, me touching your... I'm not gonna try touching your arm to use the spell either, I'm sorry. I don't want to find out what happens when someone touches it.
Didn't we put like a thing on it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ozark
I mean, I
wrapped
can
this
undo the
weird
thing.
cloth over it.
Yeah, I mean,
I wrote Ezzy because I didn't want to spell out his full name.
Terry, give me a intelligence check. The fact that you have a nickname close to what it actually is it makes me think that I gave you the name in full. What is that, a moderate challenge? When did you see this guy? It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago?
it's got to be
Session
like 4 now.
6, I believe. So a while ago. It was on the way to the elemental the first time.
6, holy
My
shit.
notes
that's,
say that he is Ezzy. He is a primal, and he is the flame who purifies corruption.
You
I think
also
he
wrote
called
Ezzy?
himself a- I think he called
EZZY.
himself a primordial elemental, rather than primal.
That is possible.
I think 15's good enough. The fact that you have his title alone. You remember that his name is Asim Isiok.
If I wrote Ezzy.
Well,
Here's the spelling.
You
wouldn't
want me
know
to
the
try it?
spelling.
I mean, Yeah, I think it could give us more information.
At this point, any
I don't
information we
know.
can gather for a clear path is a good
I mean, I
choice.
was
Alright.
told by Ozark that as far as he knew, the thing was a one-time use thing. So I haven't spent much time messing with it.
Fen snaps his fingers and asks Meza, "You got any incense? I need the pricey shit."
No, but you can definitely do it outside the Citadel. Or find it outside the Citadel. In case you actually detonate it and then it goes off and conflagrates all the top brass of your allied state.
I was just gonna say the guy's name. I wasn't gonna touch it.
Well, you have seen what happens with angels and leechy monsters. So why don't you do
Oh,
it
fair
outside before you set off a volcano in here, okay?
Fenn's gonna run off for a little bit, probably like an hour or so. He's gonna go get some incense and then find a nice, quiet place away from prying eyes and start his little ritual. Just go into meditation and keep saying the guy's name, Asim Esiok.
Okay, please click Legend Lore and subtract an actual spell slot now that we are in play.
Understood.
Okay, are you in the city of Thorazor when this happens?
He's probably like on the outside wall, somewhere like off the beaten path.
So, inside the city or outside of it?
Outside.
Okay.
I marked the money off the party sheet.
I really hope Fen doesn't die like this. I don't want to make a new character.
Righty, as
I kinda
Fen,
wanna go with
you
you when
know,
I
just
heard
roll
the
me
little giggle.
64. No, okay.
4061.
Yeah, 40, 61, 6 times. He will begin to legend lore. What are the rest of you doing as he just leaves for up to 2 hours to do this?
Does anyone follow?
I kind of want to.
Any of us to follow.
I mean, he kind of
That's right.
seemed like he wanted to be away from me when he was doing this, so I'm not, specifically not.
Coraline gets to see Fenn's eyes roll back into his head as he's covered in incense smoke.
Is it just Coraline?
I guess so. I don't want him to know that I'm following him, though.
Okay, give a stealth check, have it be above 30, and it's fine. Oh, that is well within range.
18.
I couldn't pass that if I wanted to.
Really?
Oh,
Fen, you begin to do your ritual when all of a sudden... Wait a minute. Someone's watching me. It's not the jabroni on top of the wall. There's someone next to the moat.
I just keep going.
Alright,
Let
you
him
try
watch.
to ignore it.
Coraline thinks she's hidden in a bush, but her blue skin and yellow cape is just popping out of the green.
It's like flapping through the back of the bush.
Oof, okay. So, Sever, Antoine,
I'm
Thatch, and Terry. Oof, names. You guys are just staying in Thorazor? Doing what?
Yeah, I think during these 2 hours I would probably go and find Falswag.
Okay. Well, that's going to be infinitely faster than whatever we have for legend lore here. To at least narratively check off. What about the rest of you?
Could I inquire for any local people to see if they could commission a statue? If I could commission a statue to,
Adlock,
You know?
Antoine, all the masons in the entire city, they've been conscripted to build fortifications. Statues are going to be the last thing they worry about at the end of this war.
You want to build a statue in the middle of a war?
this is what he spends his time on now.
Do
So,
you want
What's
to
this
build
one
a
breed?
statue?
Disease?
Sever.
disease.
Oh no.
Although,
Grand Marshal War. Sorry, I'm looking at all the people here. Nornzalon.
Okay.
Is Falzamalek the guy that is in charge?
He's
the
one of the
wizard
guys, yeah.
advisor.
I wanted to talk to him real quick. And mention I have a slight problem. Hello, Falzamalek?
Well, hang on. You go with Thatch to do this.
Okay, go with
Because
That's
we're
where I'm
going to the
going
same
to, buddy.
place.
Okay.
Terry, are you just going with one of these two groups?
Sure, I'll go with the group going to talk to Thousandsmith.
Okay. So Antoine goes off to see if he can find a statue or a stonemason or someone. The rest of you go talk to Faustmalek. Meza will lead you to him. Because he's kind of skipping around on his duties recently, trying to simultaneously win a war and enjoy the honeymoon phase of his marriage that he's apparently in. Because a dryad eloped from Alcazan, who used to be a political hostage like Thatch, has just come over here to do wild experimentation on all the spores, and trying to make a fungicide.
Respect Thasmalak for getting a dryad.
True. God, she's so hot.
Isn't it
Okay.
Peaches and Cream?
Yep. She had a real
even
name.
better.
Some douchebag named Chad gave her some really stupid name, and it kind of just stuck.
No, actually, I did. I suggested Beach's Cream.
Chad gets the credit, though.
All right.
Much like many things that Coraline has problems with, credit is one of them. Okay. You guys go talk to Phasmalek, who's hanging around. Drinking on the job. He got dismissed from a war meeting that you guys were in. Looks at you guys. Oh! Welcome back.
Can we talk in private?
He looks around his small office. Just you and me, and that guy, he says, pointing to Sever and Terry. And her,
Alright.
and pointing to Meza behind you, who is lingering in the doorway.
Sever, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing about being a vampire. I kind of need people to
Oh no.
drink from. If you have any non-combatants that would be willing to contribute to the war effort through just a small bit of their life force once every 3 days.
What you came here to talk about?
Yeah, it's like I have a small problem.
Go ahead. Thatch will step back. Stand next to Meza. Kind of cross his arms a little bit.
It would be very helpful, and I am only asking for non-combatants because I understand the war is going on, and only if they were willing to. I'm not trying to prey on anyone. I'm just trying to bolster myself for the fights ahead.
Okay, when you say you need a drink from, do you mean like literally tear a hole in their neck and like slurp it up, or?
No, it's alright. So it's a small little bite. They get marked, and then we're psychically connected. And then every 3 days, I might take a little bit from them in order
Is
to
this
make
like a
myself stronger.
lifelong?
It is, but also a life is very much in question right now if we don't win the war.
True. What happens if we win, and then like 4 years later down the line, you go like full crazy vampire, mind control them, and then get them to kill their families?
So I wish that I could say, firstly, assuming that we win, I am under the tyrant's control at all times. I'm harmless where he's involved. Furthermore, I can't promise that you won't. That I can't go crazy, because sometimes vampires go crazy. But look, you now have the opportunity 4 years down the line to go crazy and kill your family, as opposed to just being murdered by leeches.
I think I can think of some people who would agree to this.
I appreciate it, and I will let them know that they can ask me a favor. Whether I don't have much money, but I am immortal, and I can put my time towards something that they want.
Oh, that may be good for some of them.
He's really good at digging. Shout, Thatcher, shout right now.
That'll be helpful. Thatch. What you want, man? You didn't just come here to pawn off a vampire's bullshit to me?
I did not. Obviously, there is a... John, can you go to another section real quick? I have to step out for 20 seconds.
All right. Oh, Alden got up too.
I'm here. I just had to go in the other room for a second.
Okay. Well, as Thatch holds us on a cliffhanger, we focus back to our bard. Or, no, he's back. Fuck. He actually beat you back. All right.
Sorry. My wife is not feeling well and dealing with my kids, and I have to step out at random points, but I should be back.
Okay, you're good.
I get a character.
True. What do you want, Thatch? Hurry up.
I'm deeply concerned by the attack here on this castle, by the conduit. I feel like there's a spy in our midst.
For sure, there definitely are.
I feel like they're tapped into the communications here, and we have been discussing ways to possibly draw them out.
Oh.
We discussed possibly setting up a public appearance, a speech, drawing in perhaps the architect, the Lord of War, or the Admiral. But none of them will likely go for this. Great risk to them, great worry, plus they don't know us. But you
Well,
do.
they know you. You told them to get the fuck out of the room and trust you. That you could handle the Leechy plan. With the Leechy man. The Leechy Dan.
Does he have his alcohol cup sitting in front of him?
No. He's just tired and hungover. Ooh.
Are there any targets in this city, in the surrounding area, that would severely cripple the efforts of Thorazor? We are looking for the next possible entrance point.
Oh, man. You're asking for, like, defensive secrets to leak to our enemy? To bait them into...
No, I'm not asking for secrets. I'm asking, as Angelo in the background is like, secrets. No, I'm asking for what the next target might be. I want to get ahead of the situation. I want to scout for it. And then possibly I want to lay a trap. I want to use you as the bait.
Okay. So, something that I didn't tell Meza. So, don't blame her that I didn't tell you this. Because she didn't need to know at the time. Meza, fuck you. He sniffs hard. Meza's still in the background and just, like, shakes her head. So, that attack, clearly, you know, well thought out, I suppose. Attack before dawn when shifting of the guards. Still, superficial damage. No real threat. Few people died. Sucks to suck. But during that time, a theft occurred of rather important notes within our citadel. Of... How do I say this? Personnel files? Registers, family names, common stuff. None of our officers, none of the big boys. Chances were the entire little attack was a distraction or a diversion so that this theft could occur. But to what end, I'm unsure of.
So you have personnel files of who? High-ranking officials?
No, none.
Common people?
The common man. Our soldiers, our non-commissioned officers, sergeants, and the like. People like Lieutenant Dan.
Do you think they're trying to find people that they can turn?
Likely.
Didn't they put out some propaganda recently?
What?
Offering to leave Thorazor alone if they stepped aside?
Yeah,
Did I
but...
misremember this?
No, you didn't, but... No one's dumb enough to believe them.
Well, find the personnel files for the people that are.
Who normally has access to these files? Who would know they are there?
A lot of people. I mean... We gotta keep track of our divisions, our soldiers. It's a massive logistical problem. There's 150,000 people currently in our military right now. A lot of them are militia who've just been raised. It's a paperwork nightmare. We're not exactly even sure which ones were stolen, but the room was upturned. Lockers were thrown over. Folders were taken. It's been a massive fucking... You know what would really suck? If nothing was missing, and they just flipped and combined all sorts of pamphlets and papers just to confuse us. Like, it would be a logistical nightmare for the 12 guys who are currently reorganizing all of the contents of the room. This happened, like, what, 2 weeks ago now? They're still at it, man.
The other thing is they could have tried to slip something in or make it less obvious that something wasn't where it was supposed to be.
He thinks for a moment. Wow, that would be a shitty thing to do. Wow, that would be really bad. I have no idea how I would even counteract that. If he made a copy... There could be, like, a page of fake soldiers who are now legitimized, running around with false credentials.
Bested by leeches.
Okay, well, I have work to do. I need to get going, guys. He stands up, stumbles briefly, shakes his head to clear his thoughts.
I'll open the door for him.
Okay. He leaves. I hope that's everything you needed from Phasma. Oh, he's gonna cast Identify so many times today.
Harry, how can we use this information?
I don't know.
We know that they came here for a specific purpose. It wasn't just to cause chaos and havoc. It was to get into this area and find this information.
Or slip information in. Like he fears, it's possible they've got a number of people in our army with false credentials now, and no way to work that back
people
out.
with false credentials that are... There's only so many conduits of Leechy Dan. They would have to be in some way infested by leeches or in some way of controlled leeches. Like, how can we identify that? Don't they have those disease amulets or something that they used when we first walked into the castle?
Yes, there is some kind of disease monitor, but I don't think whatever is going on with the... And maybe there's something to that? I don't know. But even beyond that, right, I don't think that it's... The conduits are diseased, right? They have one of Leechy Dan's brains inside of them. That's something different.
How can we detect that?
If only you had a way to effectively detect an area of evil or good.
Yes. if only there was some way. I feel like if I put my mind to it, I might be able to, I don't know, smell nasty leech brains. A
Terry's
little bit of
bloodhound
a
for
salty
evil.
smell.
The
That
trick
smelly
then is
smell.
the trick then is how do we draw them into the open, or at least draw us in. How do we get potential targets for this into an area where you can detect all of them at once?
And, well, an address to the military of some kind, right? We can combine our ideas, right? And make a some kind of effective target and an address to the military.
All right, let's go back and find Antro wherever he is and let Fen finish his investigation.
Okay.
And then we go find someone to give this address. I don't think Falsmoke's going to do it. He's going to be busy for the next couple days.
Indeed. Let's jump to Finn. Finn, my boy, and the pirate stalking him. Whoa.
He's just repeatedly saying a name and title.
Indeed. Say it for us a couple of times, why don't you?
Fuck, where'd it go?
Fucker. Haha, he didn't write it down, boys.
I already forgot how to say it properly. Asim Esiok, he who first turned to flame to purify corruption. Asim Esiok, he who first turned to flame to purify corruption.
You did this 10 minutes, alright.
Yup.
Is that really
Probably
all
still
you
in the
need?
bush
You
with a
just need a
yo-yo.
name?
Name or describe a person, place, or object. I could describe the way he looked, but I don't actually know if that's what he looked like. You know?
Well, you
A
saw
being
the
from
image.
hell.
It will help, right? You don't actually need to say it. You begin to say this name over and over and over again. Asim Iziok. During this time, one of the first spring rains will begin to drizzle down and quite quickly turn into a storm, as is common here in Thorazor, known for its heavy downpour, its muddy terrain, its mountainous, near unlivable, unarable land. Fix the noise. Yeah, it's fine. You begin to say this name over and over, summoning the mind of the horned, long-eared, molten magma person who came out of a statue and then crumbled into basalt. And as you do so, something is going to happen on the other side of our break. We'll be right back, everybody. Woo! Break time!
Boo.
Something's happening.
Hello, everybody! We are back after that little break. Thank you so much for your patience as we once more cast the spell Legend Lore. Ben, you say the words Asim Iziok over and over. Rain begins to pour down as you do so. Ugh, as I blow my nose a little bit. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. Rather than speaking it this time, then you view an age when time was not necessarily so formal and rigid as it is now, day by day, calendar by calendar. You see snippets and flashes of images as you say this name. Every time you say it, a new image pops into your mind. At first, it is of a sunless sky, a creature looking out to a black spheroid in the distance of the dawn dusk, unmoving, as if trailing like a celestial body after your planet. Another, you see a young Ulathaean. You understand their names are. Not an elf, not a fae-like creature, but a Ulathaean. Tall, strong, broad, muscular, singing out words you can't understand, you cannot hear, just due to the fact that this is an image. They are surrounded by many of their kin, you suppose. They're all tall, perfect 18 out of 18 hotness. They are like sculptures moving around, talking with entities unseen. Again, another flash, and now darkness has fallen, but there are no stars in the sky, no moons even, out there in the darkness. And then you see it. None other than him. Lychee fucking Dan. You know it intrinsically. This creature stalking through a bog, a swamp, as if trying to lure in a brother or sister, twisted and malformed like a monster. Not nearly the description that Antoine said of some weird but kind elf. Kind-looking elf. A man trying to understand the baseball team that is his conduit's son's team. Or
The little sluggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a true.
You see this image over the shoulder of the one you are stalking through this spell. There is another cutaway of chaos. The Ulathaeans. Perhaps some of the first. Now they are surrounded by younger ones, it appears, as weird leech monsters begin to come forth from this bog. Lychee Dan amongst them. And then you feel a hotness as you say it again. Asim Iziok. There it is. His hand in your eyes. Charred. Scalded. Seared. As if he stuck his hand into a roaring fire and pulled out molten magma. Every syllable, Asim Iziok. His hand moves forward. And perhaps, for the first time in history, a fireball spell is cast. It detonates and scatters the monsters, searing them alive, singeing them in a still frame. And he pursues. The scene cuts away as you see other elves, Ulatheans, now armored in some ways, manner. Light, not like full-clad paladin plate mail, but there is simple metal armbands around arms and chest plates that run down in a strange V, protecting organs in theory. As well as one androgynous-looking Ulathean. Fair but small, not broad-shouldered, but wielding a long sword, who is pointing their blade at, you assume to be Lychee Dan. Asim is in the background, watching this. This is your view, just in the background, pursuing. Acting, but never in the foreground. Again, a flash, and a sword is swung. A crying, furious, severed head of Lychee Dan, undoubtedly cursing his kin. You pause for a moment, your spell not even halfway through. It continues again. The life of Asim Easyoak on a quest to rid not just his homeland of these leeches and monsters, but the others that are beginning to fester in the wilds. He journeys. He abandons his home. His job either complete or incomplete, it matters not. He descends a great mountain on wings of fire, this great pillar in the sky he is upon, flying to a lower land filled with vermin. Ulatheans following after him on similar wings of either great eagles or riding the air as if they were but a feather falling through it. This continues. Again, he finds monsters. Again, he destroys them with fire. It does not end, this cycle. Until at last he is in a different snowy area, both his hands and upper body covered in scars of heat. You feel hot just feeling the image in your mind. You see that androgynous elf once more, swinging a sword, a bit older now, wearing a circlet of a crown upon their head, laced with white and purple lotuses. There are humans, maybe, amongst their kind, in this snow-filled mountain range that they are doing combat with these demons. But I wouldn't call them humans. To you, Alden, they look like Neanderthals. Humans before humanity. More animal and much more primal. Pre-civilization, for sure. These tribal warriors and the Ulatheans, as well as stocky, mannish things with great long black beards wielding axes of sharpened stone, as well as unforged metal, do combat around a pillar that shoots into the sky, treeless, covered in snow of gray stone. It reminds you of the world pillar that you sometimes see pictures of or hear stories of. A non-Ugarestian problem, but one that specifically the Discovery team once dealt with at length. And Lychee Dan is there again. No longer the twisted man, but beautiful. The one that you've seen descriptions of from what Antoine saw in his crystal orb. Cut and severed from the waist down, of course, and attached to a hill range of leech body, his monsters and spawn lurching towards a scattered band of warriors. But you are still there as Asim Easy Oak, and your fire once more scalds him and burns. A large boar, one the size of a dragon, trundles forward and is slain by a malicious-looking spear of thorn, as well as antler. This beast falls. Other titans, primal creatures, are killed one after the other by these bands as they rush towards the mountain, your fire always getting in their way, as if this impenetrable wall oozes forth from not just your hands, not just the earth, but your very soul. And finally, they make it once more to Lychee Dan. It is almost a perfect rendition of the first time he was killed. The swords person, the gaggle of others who are spectating this decision that the almost king-like person decrees before chopping into them with a silvered sword. But this time, there is something different. Lychee Dan isn't snarling. He's smiling, happy this is occurring. His still frame clicks with every letter of your pronunciation. It does not waver as he is cut into image by image as he raises his hand and his body begins to explode. Inflate. Discharging a foul energy from his death, a rift is created. For a moment, this king is about to be sucked in. And then you act. In the foreground, Asim Easy Oak reaches out, grabs them, throws them back. Lychee Dan looks disgusted, enraged, as you charge to the darkness that awaits. Your throat dries in the rain, Fen. You're unsure if you're sweating or you're just drenched in rainwater, as your 10 minutes of this spell is up. Corlin, you have been sitting in a bush for 10 minutes watching Fen more or less shifts gently, muttering a name you can't even hear over the sound of the rain that falls around you all.
Does he look to have his eyes closed?
I don't know. Fen, are your eyes closed?
Yeah, at certain points they're closed, at certain points they're open.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like he's cognizant of what is going on with his own body.
After about 5 minutes, we'll kind of get bored and just go and sit in front of him and just kind of wait.
Then your eyes open and you see Corlin. And there's not much different between her and the first creatures you saw.
The Ulatheans, like the first ones.
The smaller ones, not the big ones. Not the ones like Asim, but the ones closer to what is described of the king. Although Corlin is much more feminine than the androgynous one that wielded a sword.
So, did your spell do what it was supposed to?
Yeah. There was a lot. You actually look like an old king. Kind of. From before time, as we know it.
I mean, I know my clothes could be a little more form-fitting, but that's a little insulting.
No. Your physiology.
Oh, I think somebody else has mentioned that before, John.
Maybe.
Um,
I mean, you are very attractive. You're 18 out of 18 hotness over here, Coraline. What do you want from me? You want just affirmation?
no,
You're
no, I
beautiful.
meant that she looked like an ancient Eulothian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't remember who. I think it was maybe Irithel to say, but I'm not sure. Anyways, yes, I changed a little bit when the incident happened.
When all that god stuff was happening.
Oh, they told you. Great. Yes.
I can read an action report.
Yeah. They weren't supposed to put. Anyways. Yes. The two blue jerks. They changed me a little bit. Got rid of my gills. Made my ears longer.
Did either of them look androgynous? Like you couldn't tell their gender?
Both of them.
Well, that doesn't help as much. But the guy who put the mark on Terry has been Leechy Dan's enemy for a painful amount of time. To the point where, oh shit. And he thinks about the whole Leechy Dan smiling at the king and blowing up thing. We have to go back and talk to the rest of them.
Alright.
And Fen just starts running back to the Citadel.
You start running back.
I
The
will
guy
keep
at the
up.
checkpoint who watched you leave like 20 minutes ago is like, "Hey, buddy, no running across the moat. You're gonna slip on the stones, man." Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Da 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 da.
You slip and fall in your haste, Fen, onto your face. You will skin your palms for 5 points of slashing damage.
Oh, crap. Damn. That would have
Eh.
killed a normal person.
I literally just watched a man fucking stick his hand into magma. I'm good.
You get up. You're fine. You've got plenty of hit points to spare. You run across the wet, slick stones of Thorazor until at last you reach the Citadel. One of the guards is like, "Hey, no running across the drawbridge." Okay. Just repeating himself. You get on inside after being like, "I'm from the Tassels Force, and here's my identification." And you get on in. Drenched in water, you will begin to run inside with wet feet. Nah, man, I just want to keep making you slip now.
Oh, once I'm in the Citadel, I'm not gonna keep running.
Okay,
Prestidigitation on your feet.
true.
I'm not thinking about it.
Drenched, you throw open the door to where your task force members have gathered and sort of meander during times like these. What do you do?
I shake Sever awake.
Sever's like, yeah, I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
I look at Thatch, who usually takes the death-defying bullshit on himself. We shouldn't try to kill Leechy Dan ourselves.
What do you mean? If not us, then
I saw what felt like multiple lifetimes worth of fights between Izzy and Leechy Dan. He fought alongside. Do I know they were Ulathaean, or do I just like have the idea that they were?
They looked like them.
Who I assume was an Ulathaean, or who I assume were Ulathaeans, and someone who became their king. I'm guessing. There weren't any words, just images. But in the last battle, the king, as he did many times before, tried cutting off Leechy Dan's head, and As he did, Lichidan smiled, raised his hand, and exploded into a rift of darkness. And that's when Izzy threw the king away and jumped in to the rift himself. And Lichidan was less than happy about that.
You think that's when Izzy died?
I don't think Izzy is dead, but this man, he truly was the first man to pull fire into the world. I watched him reach his hand into the ground and pull magma out of it and throw it at the leeches.
Would you say that
And at a
Izzy
certain point it
popped
felt...
them?
Huh?
Oh.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Terry? I didn't hear.
I said, would you say that Izzy popped them?
Loses its bite after the second saying, though, you know?
I didn't hear the
heard
first.
enough with the first time to get it.
As we all Google what that means for the older people in chat.
I don't even know what it means.
And the younger people in chat.
Ichidan smiled, you said? You saw him
Yep.
smile. We heard of him smiling when we scried on him the first time. Heard of all the leeches that were dying.
I don't think it's the same thing necessarily. He's finally taking someone with him. But he got the wrong person. And now I think
the smile
this Izzy guy is trapped in Dan's world with him. But no matter how many times they killed him, he just kept coming back. And he wasn't always the way he looked now. He definitely looked more monstrous before humans existed.
Then that tracks with the information that we've received. The conduits are the key. If the conduits are not destroyed, then he will always come back.
I have a feeling he might come back no matter what. I don't think the conduits really matter.
Were these times spread out and separated?
By what felt like eons.
Then I say
I'm
we
just saying, there weren't conduits. I didn't see anything that looked like conduits in any of this. I have a feeling they mean nothing, and that they're just people on the inside who pass as human better than the rest.
So what do you suggest?
Well, every time he was killed, it was with a silver sword, the same silver sword from the Uluthaean king. Someone who looked androgynous.
Have you ever seen the sword before the vision?
Isn't that the sword that the tyrant got? No, it's not.
I have no idea.
When he was crowned Prince of the Lothians?
Is Mezzo with us?
You can go find her.
Yeah, I'll go find her and bring her up to speed on all this.
Yeah.
And ask her if she has any idea of this sword.
She thinks for a moment. She will tell you of the Discovery team. They went to search for a crown for the tyrant so that he could become the first king of Ulithea or Ulithia. Ulithil? She thinks for a moment. I'm not going to lie, it's not my greatest subject matter. I was there for the coronation, though. That was pretty baller, if you ask me. A sword. No, he got a crown.
Could you
that,
describe it?
Silvered? Platinum, I suppose. Truly. Quite simple. But it was able to change shape, and he turned it into a ring. And he put it on his left hand.
Did the crown that I saw look any like simple, kind of silvery platinum-y?
Yeah, for sure.
There
was a sword that was recovered, however, from a demi-dimension or a land of flowers. That's all I've heard, though. I never saw it myself.
Do you know where it is?
Likely with Ozark or Batyrant somewhere.
We should probably get word to them about this then, because this man is Simi Ziak. He wasn't always whatever the hell Terry came into contact with. He was... Did he look Ulathaean?
Yeah.
He was an Ulathaean, just like the rest of them, and Dan wasn't in the beginning. And then he became a man whose soul was fire.
I see.
I could feel it, in a sense.
Try not to lose your way when you look back into the past. I know many wizards do.
It was a bit consuming, but I don't feel overwhelmed by it. It's just a lot to take in.
I'm told, yes. You would best head to Tulsa directly if you are needing to speak with them about this matter. This is not to be conveyed outside of a direct face-to-face meeting.
Fair enough. I think that this crown, more than likely than the sword itself, is probably what Dan was after the king for.
The only person I know who might know that would be Jerome. But I'm told Leechy Dan is much more ancient and older than Jerome ever was. So, who knows?
The fights I saw were before the humans.
She nods her head. Well, you have a ship. I'm not needing to call you a taxi, am I?
Well, guys, do you think we should head back and talk to the Tyrant about this? I think we should.
I agree with you. Seems like we have two things in front of us. One, we have to keep investigating this conduit, or this agent that came into Thorazor, and set up a way to give him a trap. And two, we've got to find a way to kill Leech Dan. I think some of us should stay and prosecute that here, and some of us should go.
I think the kill Leechy Dan might be something we have to explore a little more, considering whoever does the killing might be dragged into hell for eternity.
We should
and
also
not
keep in
because
mind
they died.
that even this, right? Even killing him seemed a half measure, right? Always he's coming back.
You know, Jerome, the same way. No matter how much you kill him, he's always coming back. That's the thing with these hell people, or these hell verminous, you know.
There weren't always this many either. I watched as the leeches were the first, and then more came after.
I'm confident Jerome knows more about this. Like, this is his... I mean, this is his thing, right?
Yeah, but can we actually get this information out of him?
You might need to make a deal with him. I say as a joke. Laughing, that's only I get. Yeah. Don't talk to Jerome, in fact. Maybe it's not the best.
Can I slap him with a
We'll have
holy
to do-
sword instead?
Yes. Yes, please.
Says the guy who firebolted him after being told not to attack him.
He killed my party member. He almost killed me. Like, he's...
Well, Coraline
Well-
will need to take the ship. Fen, you're the one with the information. 2 of you should go.
Yep.
Terry, I think you need to stay here. Would you agree?
I agree.
Terry, you might be the key to this. You carry a piece of his seam on you.
True. But which of you carries a piece of the king?
I point at the one who looks like the king.
I don't have the crown, it's the tyrant.
Looks like.
Shares racial similarities.
There we
with-
go. That's what I like to hear.
That's the spirit. Alright, well, the 2 of you, Angela, do you want to go with them? You've dealt with Jerome more than anybody else, so we gotta ask him something. I trust
Angela-
you watching their back.
Joe thinks about how much he dislikes seeing Jerome. And then he also thinks about he knows some stonemasons in Tulsa. So he thinks, yeah. His real mission, he decides that he's going to be working on, and he'll be going with the team going back to Tulsa. But
I
doesn't say
nudge
anything.
Sever.
He doesn't say
You want to make a deal with Jerome? Get some life force out of
I
him?
mean, depends on what he's giving us. So, life force now. Contact to Lishudan, maybe.
It sounds like you guys are heading back, except for Terry. Is anyone else staying behind?
That will stay.
Thatch will stay. Gotcha. All right. Corwin, have you made the decision?
No, I need to go because the airship. I don't let them go anywhere without me.
Well, Captain Rusty Boy will let you hop on up into the airship parked over at Delvor and Loxator, and you guys will fly all the way to Tolst. It will take you the rest of this day. You will get there late at night. Is there anything you fuckers and Thors are planning?
I want to go talk to Terry.
He's right
I'm
there.
going to give Corin his chance to start first, since I keep picking his ideas.
No, I got the last good idea. It's your turn.
Alright. I've been thinking, as we've had a moment to collect our thoughts. This room that had all these records in it, in order for somebody to know that it was there, to know they had information they either wanted to put there or that they wanted to retrieve from it, they had to in some way have access to it. We know that this person that is in Thorazor acting as an agent is probably a member of somebody's staff, because otherwise they wouldn't have an important enough position to be able to gather the information they need. And we also heard something about a sports ball team and the son that was on it. And so therefore we have 3 different pieces of information that we can cross-reference. I think we should find Falsmalek or an assistant of his and try to cross-reference that information and try to see if any of the names that we find match all 3 of those stipulations. Access to the records room, member of the staff of one of the 3 main people in Thor's, or the architect, the Lord of War, or the Grand Admiral, and family on a sports ball team.
This was Thorazor's records that were gone through?
Yes. Thorazor's military records.
Understood.
do
You
you
hear
think?
your radio click. We're just about to leave radio range. I forgot to mention, maybe the sports ball guy isn't the same as the other guy. The 4 conduits.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, and one other thing.
Excellent. Excellent.
Very nice.
Well, that's 2 pieces of information that might be solid then. Can you think of anything else that might correlate between that information.
They don't necessarily, do they need access? Well, I guess that's a great question. How did they get into the record room, right? Was it brute forced or was it accessed?
You should go look. Let's go.
You guys will begin your investigation. Give me investigation rolls for the Thorazor boys as we go to Tolst. For the rest of you, Antoine, you're going to go talk to a mason. Should we just hand wave that?
Sure. I mean, yeah. No worries. I'm not going to subject everyone to that.
And a new statue that breathes fire on kids is born.
Yeah. They're like,
I
how
want
are we
images of
supposed to get
children
the statue there, boss? And
screaming.
you're like, I don't care. I'm paying you. Get it there.
It's just got a big bowl of candy with like spouts that shoot fire around it.
The rest of you, you make time for the tyrant, or the tyrant makes time for you, I suppose. And he is not nearly as busy now that he has discovered that half of the Discovery team has gone AWOL in Ugares to fight in a civil war when he needs them around. The other half managed to show up, but one has been cursed by some sort of instant death thing from Hyperia, which he's trying to figure out how to break, so now Runt is out. And then Yugu is just this massive coward who's just sitting in the sidelines like, I'm willing to do anything with a team. And it's like, Yugu, I'm sure you are, but we have no place to put you right now. So it's a little up in the air for them at the moment.
And I'm glad I got out of that shithole.
Yeah. Apparently the White Maiden, a demi-human of like a half woman, half griffin thing, is now in the middle of coup d'etat an entire government. The Archon and the oppressive humanist regime that they have put into power.
And I should have gotten in good with them instead.
Yeah. Kind of cool, kind of based, also going to be super bloody. Either way, you guys are back here, and the tyrant looks at you all and it's like, let us hope you have good news.
The airship, still good.
Wow! A big step up, Coraline. Good job. What's it been, like 2 weeks?
At least.
Well, we'll see if you beat your old record.
I think this was the new record.
Ah.
Yeah, I
I
give Ty the rundown of everything about Asim and the visions I had.
I see. Did this crown... Wait, where are we? We're in the throne room. Follow me, Fen. And only
Okay.
Fen. We'll be right back.
And I walk behind them.
You walk behind them.
God.
Yeah, Antoine's gone. Sever, where are you?
What time is it? Is it daytime?
You're in the Tyrant's Court during the night.
He's at the local Denny's trying to find more suicidal people.
Yeah, right? No,
Sad.
why at Denny's? Alright,
It's a
Where
Lenny's
else?
instead.
let's go talk to Jerome. Let's go see if Jerome does want a deal. Hold on.
Oh no.
You want to just do that alone without your party as backup?
Sure.
Well, Jerome is following right behind Coraline, who's following right behind Fen, who's following right behind Tyrant. So it makes sense you join the conga line.
Yeah. I meant, where are we going?
The Tyrant turns back. It's like, I just said Fen! Jerome, why are you here? Jerome's like, ah! Right
Actually,
behind
Jerome
Coraline.
might be useful for this one.
I'm useful?
You might be.
It's never been useful before. Please, Tyrant, let me come with you. The Tyrant scratches his face. Nah, you guys, you're getting way too chummy with the teams. Get the fuck out of here, Jerome. He's like, oh.
Okay. That's fine.
What do you want from
Yes.
Jerome, Sever?
I'm not sure. I was hoping to talk to him more about Leech Den.
Okay.
Yes, you two stay here. We'll be back soon. And I keep following Tyre into.
No, Coraline, you stay here.
But
Sit. He just treats you like a dog. I'm just joking with you.
Ben saw my somebody who looks like me in his vision.
Same racial appearance.
Wow.
Equal hotness.
Cool. State secrets, though. I'm sure he'll tell you in a moment, Coraline. Don't worry.
Make sure to tell him how maybe that crown should be mine. Okay, I'll see you later.
That's sedition, he mentions briefly under his breath as he slaps you on the back, Fen, taking you to a small room. There you will see that, much like when you originally left for this quest, he indeed does have a ring on his left ring finger. It is of a platinum band with a small gem. Actually, it's gold. It was gold originally. Or at least it looks gold for a brief moment. Who knows? It's a strange alloy. It's clearly magical. There is a ring in the shape of a crown along his third ring finger's ligament. There is a sliver, a shard of purple, some kind of gem that is fitted within, and he pulls it off with great effort. And as he looks at it, placing it in the palm, it begins to expand into a full-blown crown. Tyrant makes mention, neat trick, huh?
Yeah.
All the royal authority at your fingertips. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I guess so. Does it look like the crown?
It seems there are... Give me an investigation check. You as well. We'll get back to the 18 and 12 here in a moment. 23. Jesus, you are a good investigator. There are a lot of similarities, but this one is way more ornate. There's like etchings and gems encrusted within. Before, it was just a small silverish band with like lotus flowers sticking around and out of it. You do even see the lotus flower motif that has been engraved in the much wider brim that it now is. Maybe it's been added upon by future, well, for you, past rulers?
Does it... I ask him, is that crown itself magic? Like
Of
magical?
course. Crowns don't normally shrink on their own, fam.
That's fair, but by any chance can you tell me what exactly it does?
I cannot, no.
Well, did I already give him the rundown, or is this where I give him like the actual full rundown? Did he stop
well, I
me
need
before?
like a bullet point at least of like, what do you tell him?
So, I focus mainly on every encounter where the king killed Lychee Dan with the finalization of the one where he smiled. And I'll mention like briefly about Asim, but he's not the key note here between this conversation. It's more about how what the king had and who Lychee Dan's target seemed to be.
This tracks with what we learned of the first king of Ulathil, the first king of the world, in fact. It was said that they struck down Lychee Dan, along with numerous other foul and verminous ones during a long time ago, during a conflict.
It was before humans, it seemed. I saw what looked like primitive forms of humanity.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that Lychee Dan seemed to be the first of these like foul or verminous ones, as it felt like a lot of time passed before I started seeing any others. And that was around the time when Asim went to the World Pillar for the first time. or the second, it's hard. This legend lore thing is hard on my brain.
He nods his head. Makes mention that many people lose their mind from using it too often, getting lost in the dreams and visions of other, more cooler people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you need exactly from me, Fen?
I'm not exactly sure, but
Okay.
there was something about this king that was specifically what was killing Dan, I think. Izzy was the man who brought fire, primordial fire, I don't know exactly, but his soul had become fire and he was able to harm the leeches and Dan the best, but the king was always the one cutting his head off and striking the final blow. With a silver sword and the same silvery crown with the lilies inside of it. Or around it, rather. And I think there's something to do with that. If not, it was the king's own power.
I'm not sure. Obviously, we can't just go back in time and question people. That'd be so helpful right now, if we could. I would speak with Jerome. He had beef with Lishi Dan in what he calls the anthill. Chances are that's their code word for hell, or whatever sort of weird environment they exist in now. I don't know too much about this. It was mostly about Arathil when the Discovery team went into it. It sounds like your situation predates even that conflict.
Meza mentioned something about the Discovery team bringing back a sword of some sort along with the crown. Do you happen to know what's going on with that?
Currently it is much like the vampire sword your team claimed prior to your engagement. It is too expensive to use so far. I believe it is called a Defender or something. It's an ancient blade. Provides protection at the cost of offensive power. Something like that. It's currently sitting in storage, waiting for a proper use.
Alright then. Could I see it? Possibly?
Yes. Just to confirm if it is the one you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait here for a moment. The tyrant leaves. Eyeballs quarreling down the hall, who is trying not to sneak directly to the door to be heard. Jerome is above her, like, doing the same thing, like, looking through it, but he's, like, hovering somehow, like a poltergeist. Clearly wanting to be in on the meeting as well. Eventually...
My treasure sense is tingling.
The tyrant returns to you, Fen, holding a long box underneath his arm. Like a comical cardboard traveler box to be shipped out over so many countries away. He pulls out the nails of this wooden box and reveals to you a scabbard. A scabbard and, of course, the hilt within. A decorated pommel made of shining steel, which he begins to pull free. The handguard is that of, like, a kite shield, medieval-esque styled. You look at the blade. This is definitely not the sword you were watching previously in your vision. This is something else entirely. He looks at you, says, do you recognize it?
No, not at all. It doesn't look anything like the sword I saw.
I see. Yeah, they found it in a strange... Well, we found it in a strange tower. It was a very weird place we went to. He places the sword back into its scabbard, puts it back in the box, and tells the nails to go back into position. And strangely enough, the inanimate objects do as commanded.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Alrighty. If there's nothing else, I'll leave you to, I guess, Jerome. I don't make any deals with him. He's gonna try to snatch your soul.
Okay.
Nah, that's fine. I don't. It's fine. I'll talk to him.
If I have to deal with another bird person and traitor in wait, then I'm gonna get rather livid.
I understand.
Okay. He claps you on the shoulder. You feel a little bit invigorated as he totally steals any negativity or feelings of badness to consume, and then leaves.
He sees the vision I saw with Grandma.
He doesn't say anything to it, if he actually does or not. His bodyguard, of course, being 30 feet, omnipresent, orbiting around as if he were some sort of celestial body.
I look at him and whisper under my breath, he must be connected to the moon.
True.
As he starts leaving, Coraline's gonna go up to him and go, Tyrant, can I have a moment?
He eyes you and totally not his box that he is holding underneath an arm. Yes, Coraline?
I wanted to know, what are you doing about the Kraken?
The Kraken?
Yes.
In the
I heard
Isles of
that,
Flavor?
yes, I heard it's causing a lot of devastation.
To an empty ocean, yeah?
Not so empty. There are
What do you
people
mean?
under the way. My village was there somewhere.
Oh. Oh. Corwin, I'm not sure what I can do.
Uh,
If it
Can
gets
you-
within 50 miles of Tulsa, I can act against it.
no, I don't care about the Kraken. Can
Oh.
you
Okay.
save the people?
I don't
s-
have
I
a way
saw-
of communicating with them, but...
I saw in the crystal ball. I saw my mother and one of my sisters. Just one.
Do you have a way of contacting them or getting in touch?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But they were swimming away. Maybe. Do you have some ships I can search? We have an airship, but the others, they want to stay with Thorazor.
We have a few people from Mokapuni who live predominantly underwater. They've been locked in just due to the ice and the freezing cold of our ocean. But now that it's warmed up, I can ask them... what's her name? Who's Bojable's wife? He just mentions to himself. Yuki, Luna, something like that?
Suki.
Suki? Suki sounds right. I can ask her. She's one of those people. Potentially they have a way of swimming out there and without getting dragged in by the Kraken or its nonsense.
Okay, I don't know exactly where this village was. I don't remember. I was very young when we left. A 3 day swim off the coast of where it used to be.
Okay. Well, we'll put feelers out.
It's a big radius.
But it's a big ocean. So don't expect much, Coraline.
Isn't Ozark the most powerful wizard jerk everywhere? Can't he just alakadoodle and find them?
You should ask Antoine if he could do anything like that.
Oh, Edgewater doesn't even have locate object.
What a fool. Everyone should have locate object these days.
I know, we would have finished our mystery in Thorazor like in 5 minutes. But
We'll do what we can.
alright, let me know if there's anything I can do, or if you hear anything.
He nods. Be well, Coraline.
Fen yells out the door, Jerome! I need you!
Yes! He starts scattering or skittering on the walls like some fucking xenomorph. Jerome just...
I give him the same rundown I gave the tyrant, and I just ask him, you know anything about all this shit?
Yes! What shit? Wait, what? Maybe? No? Yes?
I give him the rundown again.
Lychee Dan, you say? The tyrant lives at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to know exactly about Lychee Dan? And I can give you a prize.
Alright. The same thing I talked to Tyrant about. What is it that was so special about this king that Lychee Dan wanted to drag him to hell for? Why was the king able to sever his head and get rid of him?
You're looking for the deepest of lore. That's gonna cost you quite a bit.
A god of vampire is willing to sell himself to you.
What about your firstborn child?
Yeah, sure.
He starts laughing. Wait, you're being serious? What the fuck, man? You're just gonna sell out your kid like that to some weird bird demon? To figure out a weakness of some monster, dude?
Yeah.
God, you're a monster, dude.
I sure am.
I don't know if I want to take this deal. You seem a little bit too willing to accept my offer.
I reach out my hand. Do you want to shake on it? Because I'm not.
Fuck, I want to shake on it so badly. Is Tyrant gonna stop me? Is he gonna blast my head off the moment I accept the deal? I'm feeling a little bit entrapped now. I'm not gonna lie, man. You're coming on a little bit too strong. I'm normally the aggressor in these contracts.
I promise he has no reason to come after you for this one.
Are you infertile or something? Are you...
Am I what?
Infertile? What's going on, man?
No, I'm fertile.
Okay. I'm gonna add a stipulation that's gonna be adopted too. But only if I get the understanding you're never gonna have your own firstborn child.
What? You get the understanding I won't
He shakes
have
your
it?
hand.
Okay, I shake his hand.
Alright.
Joke's on you. He doesn't like women.
Fuck! Just shout. Alright, well you better not adopt either.
I was gonna wait until after he told me the information, you dumbass!
Oh, sorry.
It's fine, it's fine. You never know who you may secretly adopt without knowing. You may get a mentorship at one point, and, you know, if that man thinks, or child thinks you are their father, then I'll just snatch them. That's what I do. I'm the snatcher.
And you know, if this thing with Anchois works out, I think wizards get true polymorph, and, you know, you can make a child that way and then change back for the fun stuff.
Simulacrums or other such things.
No idea what's going on in your mind,
So,
JC.
you know what? Can we just... Alright, so we made our deal. Let's go.
You want to know what Lychee Dan's obsession with the king is?
Mm-hmm. And why the king seemed to be the only one striking the killing blow.
It's because they had what is known as a philosophical battle of arms. You should have heard Lychee Dan after it happened. Well, I guess that would be every single moment of his pathetic existence. So essentially, from what I understand from eavesdropping on his many, many complaints, is that prior to him being banished for all eternity within the anthill, as I so affectionately have coined the term, also known as hell, I suppose. He had this big ol' like philosophical debate with some lady elf named like Zara something, or Zara maybe, Zarathel, or stupid Ulathan names. I can't believe I'm half
Ulathan or
Ulathan.
some shit.
Yes, and he said that all things under the sun, even those not made by the gods, had a right to life, no matter how pathetic and wormy they were. And Zara, whatever her fucking name was like, nah, man, you're lame. And he got really upset about that and started to become, what do you call it, an involuntary celibate? Totally stole that energy from him. Could not talk or face another woman. And then Zara had like this weird daughter thing, maybe son. He was very vague about the... I guess it doesn't matter ultimately.
Androgynous, you would say?
Yeah. You couldn't really tell, and you know, the way it was described, like clearly Dan had a thing for that one too. But apparently that one was Dan, good old Dan's, like, fathers. So, like, the god who made Dan had sex with Zara, and they formed that creature. So it was technically, like, his sibling, but also, like... Look, it was a strange time back then. I'm not going to judge the guy.
Brother.
But from what I understand, all Ulathayans are, like, horn dogs out their minds, creating weird shit. So, you know, like, hey, sure, God's fucking their kids, that's a little weird, but, you know...
He was an incest baby.
Yeah, I think everyone was kind of like an incest baby back then, though. Not me, though.
Mm-hmm.
He just points to himself.
But aren't you half
I'm not.
Ulathan?
I'm not a... No. I'm half.
You just said that.
I'm half! Half elves for
I'm
life,
sorry, I'm
baby!
sorry.
Starts throwing up gang signs with his weird nails jutting out
Continue.
of the middle indention of his fingers. Anyway, point being is, suddenly he had, like, this battle of wits, not just with the king's mom, but also his dad, and then clearly his dad was, like, trying to pit them against each other anyway. And then there was that unresolved sexual tension. It was just a mess of things back then, I assume. So who better to get killed by than the person you're jonesing for, as well as your philosophical antecedent?
Anathema.
Nisma?
Your polar opposite. Your counter to the balance, as it were.
So that's why he tried dragging this king down to hell with him at the end. Or the last time.
Spite is a hell of a drug. A hell of a chemical? Anyway, he was really mad. And then the fire dude kept showing up and, like, hounding us. Ooh, fuck that guy, though. What a piece of shit.
Yeah. His soul felt like it was made of fire when I was watching.
Oh, you actually met the mech guy.
Kind of. And
Wow! Okay, I see
lit-
how it is. Burn all the foul ones and vermin. Oh.
No.
Have a conversation with any living dumb fuck, though, you run across. What an asshole. We're people, too, you know.
I see
We had
that.
lives. We love people. We're not all evil monsters like Dan is.
Well, you did want to take my firstborn.
It's part of the thing. What, you want me to make pointless deals?
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Well then... So Dan can't die, can he? Can any of you truly die?
Not really. No. Like, even if we
So-
get incinerated in the end. Look, the fires guy caught me a couple times. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That dude, he burned me. He burned my soul.
In
I
the
was out
anthill?
for, like, what? Half an eternity? Which is, like, 2,000 years for you guys? Like, yeah, it sucks, but eventually I'll reconstitute. Or my god will speed up the process, and he'll reconstitute me on my behalf.
So what you're saying is kill gods.
Yeah, good luck with that one, Chief.
I just laugh. It's a throwaway comment.
Indeed.
But my point is, killing you guys, no matter where or how, is always going to be just temporary.
Yeah, ultimately pointless. Dan specifically, though, he's been banned from coming into the material plane. That's why he's not fully here yet. Or likely ever.
So what does that mean exactly? Can
He is
he
too big to fit. Whatever you see in front of in the world, that's not him. That's like an image of him, or like an avatar or something. I can fit. I'm honestly
So
not that big of a fucking shadow or soul. Which says a lot about me now that I think about it. Either way.
You're just a smaller package.
Yeah.
You can get around more and be seen more. That's better.
It is better. But Leechy Dan, he's the only one of the Leech. No one else has ever thought, they looked at a Leech and were like, this is something I should adore and worship. No fucking fool in their right mind would do that. But Leechy Dan, he found his one niche, I suppose.
So wait, what's he trying to? What's the point of coming here if he can't even get here?
Well, fuck now.
Just stir up
Look,
chaos.
I was trying to find my weird boyfriend husband through all eternity for like 50,000 years or something. I don't know what he's doing. But look, you know, sometimes you find out that your most precious loved one is fucking dead and has been for several thousand years, and you try to turn over a new leaf, like me. But other times you pull Leechy Dan and you enjoy being an evil, degenerate son of a bitch because that's how you were made.
So he just doesn't accept that the king is dead?
No, I don't think it's that kind of situation. I think he's just comically evil, unironically. Like, I wish to spread all of my leechy vermin everywhere to prove I'm right to people who no longer exist.
Basically an FU dad?
Yeah, kinda.
He's a brat.
For sure. God, he's annoying, too. Never let him talk. He'll, like, bore you to death, and I'm not kidding. Like, he will psychically assault you to death while boring you simultaneously.
Is that track, Coraline? I know you've been assaulted by him.
Why are you bringing me into this?
Yeah,
I'm
what
not
the
talking
fuck,
to the
man?
dirty claw guy.
He's helping us.
Fine.
We could
Jerome,
be
is
friends.
it?
Just saying.
Tell me something. What have you done to conquer the world?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Haven't heard that 20 million fucking times in the anthill. Fuck
Really?
off.
Who else has told you this?
Every single one of the leeches in the anthill.
But why? Why was he bothered telling you?
He'd tell everyone. That's all. That's the key phrase they know. It's like on repeat. It's like
They're
some
pretty
fucking
stupid.
trauma in Leechy Dan's mind to just fucking send out into the world. As if he's mocking himself or others.
But Leechy Dan is the worm, yes?
I guess. I don't know, man. Look. You're gonna ask him yourself.
Okay.
He's a very small part of my life and eternity.
How are you at swimming and searching for needles in very big, wet haystacks?
I'm a bird.
Huh?
I have wings. He, like, flaps his arms, which are clearly not wings.
So that's a no.
Whatever.
Oh, hey, Jerome. Good to see you again.
Hi.
The anthill. Are there still leeches there, or you think they're all gone now?
Oh, for sure. There's no way. There's way too many. Would you like
Okay.
some?
No, but if you wanted to get some, would you use like a summoning circle or something?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Hmm.
Hell
Sever, we
leeches.
already knew this. We found a summoning circle.
It's from
There's
the
conjuration magic
anthill.
all over those eggs.
Look, I can
the
summon a
anthill.
like, right now, I can reach my hand into this wall and pull out leeches. I'm not gonna, because someone's listening to my words, but I could do that.
Are you?
In
Can we go
Minecraft, I
there?
could do this. What?
Sever, we already know that they can just come out. We already know this.
You know what a conjuration spell
ground.
is, Sever?
But they have a breeding ground. Why are they doing this otherwise then?
Because it's easier to
More.
breed them, and then... Well, I actually don't know.
If you don't have to
Nest,
spend,
now that I think about it.
if you don't have to spend the magic pulling them through a hole in the ground, and they can just make themselves in another hole in the ground already here.
Yeah, let
less
nature do
work
the
for
hard
you.
work.
Cool.
Obviously, there's some form of living being like we are.
It's always easier to mutate something than it is to summon something.
But there's like a piece of Lishidan in our world, a piece of Lishidan in the anthill, and conduits elsewhere.
I don't know. Look, it doesn't matter how many conduits this guy has. It doesn't matter how much of him he gets put in here. He's too big. He can't fit. Maybe you can get his, like, upper half. Maybe you can get his body out. But this fucker is bigger than a mountain. Like, imagine a mountain, like, half the world pillar size in terms of leech. Like, that's how big this fucker is. He's huge.
So
He
he'd
could
literally
fill
need
in
a
a
summoning
great lake
circle.
and still have room to splash around in.
He'd need a summoning circle the size of the world pillar just to
Like,
get
the
himself
moment
out.
Leechy Dan comes in, he's gonna, like, ruin the atmosphere with how fat he is. He's just gonna clog it up with leeches. If you threw Leechy Dan from the sky, you would probably destroy the world.
He would destroy around the world, not in the world. Sorry. Okay.
Whatever.
You think
Fuck
that
you.
all the leeches are just pieces of him that have come off and he's trying to make himself less fat
I doubt
so he
it.
can fit through?
Look, for laws of equivalent exchange, you can't really shave your soul down. Look, he fused with a god. Like,
Huh?
it's over for him. He's done. He can't fit. The leech is
He did
banned.
what?
What?
The leech god, right?
Do you not know how conduits work? Fuck off, Fen. Give me your second-born child, too.
Okay, cool, take it.
I'm taking your cousins next.
I don't have any.
That you know of.
That's fine. I don't know him. So what's this about conduits? How do they work?
Nah, fuck you, man. I need something actually worthwhile. Look, I don't like the guy Leechy Dan, but if I can make some money off him, I'll do it.
You want money? I got like... He pulls out 1 gold.
I know you guys got more than that.
I'm
There's
not
something
going to
I'm
touch the
told that's
gold.
called a party sheet.
We just bought an airship. All our money's in flying real estate.
Joke's on you, Coraline renamed it to the bathtub.
You named it the bathtub?
What?
Don't bathtubs get filled with water?
I don't know. It got, quote, it has parentheses bathtub in it now.
Oh, that wasn't me.
I thought it was you.
No, it wasn't.
Hey,
Look, can you guys just buy me dinner or something? They don't like
Yeah,
to
I'll
order
take it.
food for me since I don't
I'll take
technically
you to
need
the
eat.
nicest restaurant here.
Well, can you do takeout? They won't let me off Till's property. Or the court.
Yeah, we'll do takeout, Jerome.
Hell yeah. Alright. Go get that and I'll tell you over dinner.
Alright, I go
It'll
and
be
get
like
him.
a date! Oh, this is gonna be so cute!
Yeah, I fucking buy some candles.
Jerome's gonna get his firstborn for sure.
She'll completely validate the deal. Wow.
Yeah, here, we'll schmooze him up too.
There you go. Indeed. Luigi Dan is a debate, bro. I just looked at chat. That's probably minutes old, if not hours. Alright, conduits are more or less spellcasters that are directly connected to the person. So anyone, in theory, if you are a powerful enough sorcerer, wizard, magician, spellcaster, you can have a conduit. And can quite literally cast your magic through them as if they were extensions of your body. Many historical warlocks who are not trained in the just fucking shove all of your magic out of your body all at once school of magicking are, yeah, they're like familiars, in a way.
They're kind of like the Scions.
Kinda, just on a super weak scale. If a conduit dies, nothing happens to that magical power. It's still out in the world, or it is going to slowly rejoin its master.
So I was right, the conduits mean more or less... Actually, it's better that they're alive if we go and fight him, because then he doesn't have that power on him.
Well, you
Even
know,
if
it's
it's a
like
minuscule
you
amount.
cast your spell through someone else's. It's like telling someone to shoot a handgun, right? Like,
Okay.
sure, you didn't shoot the handgun yourself, but the handgun got fired because of you. Just replace handgun with magic missiles now. And essentially you have Lishi Dan's situation. I personally don't fuck around with conduits. They're not worth my time. I'd rather have demon raptors, which fly. So cool. Deliver just fucking blinding feathers everywhere. It's fantastic.
I hear they gave the original go-around to this team of real hell.
Indeed.
So what's this about a boyfriend-husband?
Oh! He begins to tell you stories of his old life, back when he was a mortal man, making decisions and fighting in his own god war. Albeit only one that was involved. Guys, I know it is 2 minutes till close, but I want to resolve the 18 and 12 investigations. You guys were searching for a dude. Terry, you will find the man who is in charge of the room itself. And he will tell you that it was not just broken into, but was burned away. The door was aesthetically melted so that someone could gain entry into this room. I'm not sure if that will help you, but someone would have to use some crazy magic to do that. The strangest thing that he will also mention is that none of the like magical wards for like the foul stuff went off. Because the Citadel is protected by both magic and physical means. And the fact that nobody sensed a summoning circle nearby is fucking crazy. It's lunacy, in fact. That this thing happened in the city with no one detecting it at all. I'm going to let you guys stew on all this information for 1 week. And when we come back, we are going to have to make the decision. Do we hunt down a conduit? Does it matter if we already kill Lishi Dan and push him back into the void? Or do we do just that? You also hear that the raid team is going to come back you up on the eastern flank soon to deal with the boars, the mushrooms, or the angels.
Ah, yes, the Kraken releases.
Yep.
How good to see them.
Corley's
could
gonna
go
try and
wrong?
start a fucking party versus party fight.
Hell yeah. Okay, we're gonna head on out, but any final messages? Actually, no, I'll just address for both Timur and Shadow. You both are about to be on Greg's here in like, what, half an hour or something?
30 minutes.
Okay, well, I will be posting a doobly-doo in our Discord, or I'll have them do it, I don't really care.
Matt Colville.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Matt Colville, Greg Hansen, whatever. Any other things you guys want to say before we head on out?
I believe that term was first used by Hank Green, or the Greens. Yeah,
Oh.
but
What
yeah.
term?
Final Fantasy X is a game that revolves around death and the spherical nature of it. Sorry, no. Spiral nature of it. Definitely check it out. Fun game. It's old, but it holds up.
All right, well, we'll be seeing you guys next week. Don't fucking die. See you later.
Bye.